I found it in pieces on my bedroom floor. The dress I'd saved for 6 months to buy. Working every weekend, staying late on weekdays, picking up extra shifts during holidays. $8 an hour at the bookstore, calculating each paycheck, watching the number grow. 200 after 2 months, 300 after 4, finally 400 by March. Enough for the dress. Pale blue silk, floor length, with delicate beading at the neckline that caught the light like tiny stars. The most beautiful thing I'd ever owned. I'd tried it on at the boutique 3 times before buying it. The saleswoman knew me by name by the end. When I finally had enough money, she wrapped it carefully in tissue paper, placed it in a garment bag like it was made of glass. I'd hung it in my closet when I got home, showed my mother. She'd smiled and said it was lovely, really lovely. I'd looked at it every day after school. Sometimes I'd unzip the bag just to see it, to remind myself it was real, that I'd worked for something and got it, that I'd have one night where I felt special. I was supposed to wear it to prom tomorrow night. Now it was in strips. Clean cuts with scissors, deliberate, methodical. Someone had laid it on my floor and cut through the silk over and over. The beading was scattered across the carpet like fallen stars. The pieces didn't even look like a dress anymore. Just fabric. Destroyed. Irreparable. My sister Megan was sitting on her bed across the hall, painting her nails, when I walked into her room holding the pieces. "Did you do this?" My voice was shaking. She looked up, glanced at the fabric in my hands, shrugged. "Oops." Just that. One word. No explanation, no apology. Just oops, like she'd spilled water, not destroyed something I'd worked for. I stood there for a long moment, then walked out, closed my door, laid the pieces on my bed, and made a decision. This was the last time Megan would destroy something of mine. 15 years later, she called me crying. "You didn't send me a wedding invitation. Mom said you're getting married in 3 months. How could you not invite your own sister?" I was at the florist finalizing arrangements, looking at centerpieces that cost more than my entire prom had. "Oops," I said. Then I hung up. Let me take you back, because this story isn't about a dress or a wedding. It's about learning that some people will destroy your happiness and expect you to forgive them, and years later when you've built something beautiful, you don't owe them a seat at your table. If you've ever had a sibling sabotage something important to you, if you've ever been told to get over it while they never apologized, if you've ever excluded someone from your joy because they taught you they don't deserve to share it, this story is for you. Megan was 3 years older and had spent most of our childhood making sure I knew I was less than her. She was the pretty one, the popular one, the one boys noticed. Perfect hair, perfect skin, perfect smile. I was the quiet one, the smart one, the one who didn't fit. Glasses, braces until I was 15, preferred books to parties. In middle school, she'd borrow my things without asking and return them broken. My favorite sweater came back with cigarette burns. My CD player stopped working after she borrowed it for a party. My journal went missing for a week, then reappeared with pages torn out. When I'd confront her, she'd shrug, say she didn't know what I was talking about, say I must have broken them myself. In high school, she'd spread rumors about me, tell people I'd done things I hadn't, make me a joke in the hallways, then act confused when I got upset. "I was just joking," she'd say. "Why are you so sensitive? God, you can't take anything." Our parents always took her side. Megan was just being Megan. She was outgoing, social. Sometimes things got miscommunicated. I needed to lighten up. Stop being so serious. Learn to laugh at myself. They never asked why I spent so much time in my room, why I stopped inviting friends over, why I couldn't wait to leave for college. They just accepted that I was difficult. The problem child, while Megan was perfect. The prom dress incident happened when I was 17. I'd been saving money from my part-time job at a bookstore since the beginning of senior year. $8 an hour, working 15 hours a week. It took 6 months to save $400 for the dress. I'd seen it in a boutique downtown. Pale blue silk with delicate beading at the neckline. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. The kind of dress that made you feel like someone different, someone special. I bought it 3 weeks before prom, brought it home in a garment bag, hung it in my closet, showed my mother. She said it was lovely. Megan was in college by then, home for spring break. She looked at it and said, "Little fancy for you, isn't it?" I had a date to prom. Marcus, a boy from my calculus class who was quiet like me. We'd been studying together all semester. He'd finally found it on my bedroom floor, in pieces, clean scissor cuts through the silk, the beading scattered across the carpet. Someone had taken their time, made sure it was completely unwearable, irreparable. Megan was the only one home. Our parents were at work. I walked into her room holding the pieces, asked if she did it. She looked at me with this small smile. "Oops." That's all she said. I asked why. She shrugged. "It looked better on me than it would have on you." Seems unfair. She'd tried it on, apparently, decided I didn't deserve it, destroyed it so I couldn't have it. I went to my parents that night when they got home, showed them the dress. They were horrified, called Megan downstairs. She denied it, said she had no idea what happened. Maybe I'd done it myself for attention. I was always dramatic. Our mother looked between us. Megan wouldn't do that. She was the only one home, I said. My father sighed. Maybe you left it somewhere and someone else got to it, or maybe it caught on something. They didn't want to believe their golden child would do something so cruel, so they decided she hadn't. I didn't go to prom. Couldn't afford another dress. Couldn't face showing up in something makeshift. Called Marcus and told him I was sick. He was disappointed but understanding. Megan went out that night with her college friends. Came home at 2 a.m. laughing. I heard her through the wall. The dress pieces sat in my closet for a week before I threw them away. I didn't cry, just felt something cold and hard settle in my chest. A knowing. That Megan would always hurt me, and my parents would always let her. So I needed to get away. I graduated high school 2 months later, applied to colleges far away, got accepted to a state school 8 hours from home. My parents were surprised. Why so far? I said I wanted independence. Megan said I was running away. I said yes, and left. Worked through college. 2 jobs, sometimes 3. Paid my own way. Came home for Christmas and Thanksgiving only. Kept Megan at a distance. She'd try to act sisterly during holidays, asking about my life, pretending we were close. I'd give short answers. Our parents would comment on how I'd grown distant, cold even. I'd smile and change the subject. College led to a good job. Graduated with a degree in marketing. Got hired by a mid-sized agency at $45,000 a year. Moved to a different city. Built a life Megan wasn't part of. She'd call occasionally, ask for money, advice, help with something. I'd say no. She'd tell our parents I was being difficult. They'd call asking me to be more generous with my sister. She was struggling. I was doing well. Family helps family. I'd say Megan destroyed my prom dress and never apologized. They'd say that was years ago. I needed to let it go. I'd say I had let it go. Just not let her back in. At 25, I met James, a designer at an architecture firm. Funny, kind, creative. We met at a coffee shop. He was sketching building facades in a notebook. I was reading a marketing book for work. He asked what I was reading. We started talking. Didn't stop for 3 hours. We dated for 2 years. Dinners, museums, weekend trips. He met my family once at Christmas. Megan tried to flirt with him. He politely ignored her. My parents asked later if we were serious. I said yes. They said that was nice and changed the subject to Megan's new job. James proposed on a beach at sunset. Cliché, but perfect. Got down on one knee in the sand while the waves crashed behind him. Asked me to marry him with a vintage ring he'd designed himself. I said yes before he finished the question. We started planning a wedding. Nothing huge, we thought initially. Maybe 100 people. Intimate, personal, meaningful. But as we planned, it grew. My career had grown. I was making $80,000 as a marketing director at a tech company, managing a team of 5. James was making similar at his firm. We had savings. We'd been smart with money. We could afford something special. Something beautiful. The wedding we actually wanted, not the wedding our budget dictated. Not the modest affair we'd have to settle for, but the celebration we deserved. The venue we chose was a historic estate outside the city. 300-year-old stone building with gardens that looked like they belonged in a period film. Fountains with angels, rose arbors, a ballroom with crystal chandeliers. We toured it on a rainy Tuesday, walked through the gardens, saw the ballroom lit up. James squeezed my hand. "This is it," he said. The rental was $40,000 for the weekend. Flowers, $15,000. We wanted lush arrangements on every table. Food and bar, $50,000. Sit-down dinner for $150,000. Photography and video, $20,000. My dress was $8,000 custom designed. James's suit, $3,000. The rings, $15,000 together. The band, $10,000. String quartet for ceremony. Full band for reception. By the time we finished planning, $200,000 total. Split between us and our families. My parents offered $5,000. James's parents put in $40,000. We covered the rest. It was excessive, but it was ours. I made the guest list carefully. Family, close friends, colleagues who'd become friends. 150 people. Invitations were designed, printed, addressed. I was stuffing envelopes when James asked about Megan. "She's not on the list," he said, looking at the spreadsheet. "I know," I said. He waited. He'd heard the prom dress story, heard other stories. Knew Megan and I weren't close. "You're not inviting your sister to your wedding?" "No," I said. "That's going to cause problems," he said. Not judgmental, just factual. "I know," I said. "Worth it?" I thought about it. About the dress on my floor in pieces. About Megan's smile. About oops. About 15 years of her treating me like I was less than her. About my parents defending her. About every time I'd been told to forgive, to move on, to be the bigger person. "Yes," I said. "It's worth it." The invitations went out 6 months before the wedding. My parents got one. Megan didn't. I waited for the call. It came 3 days later. My mother. "Where's Megan's invitation?" "I didn't send her one," I said. "She's not invited." Silence. Then, "You can't not invite your sister to your wedding." "I can," I said. I did. "Why would you do this?" my mother asked, her voice rising. "Hey, she's family." "She destroyed my prom dress the day before prom and said, 'Oops,'" I said. "That was 15 years ago." "And she's never apologized," I said. "Not once. Never acknowledged it. Never made it right. Just, oops, like it was nothing." So you're punishing her 15 years later? My father said. He was on the line now. Speakerphone. I'm not punishing her, I said. I'm having a wedding for people I want there. People who've shown me they care about my happiness. Megan's not one of those people. She's your sister, my mother said. And she's cruel, I said. She's been cruel my whole life, destroying my things, spreading rumors, making me feel small, and you always defended her, always told me to forgive her, to be understanding. Well, I understand perfectly. She doesn't care about me, so she doesn't get to come to my wedding. If she's not invited, we're not coming, my father said. I felt something twist in my chest, but I kept my voice steady. That's your choice. I'd like you there. But if Megan being excluded is more important than celebrating your daughter's wedding, I understand. You're being unreasonable, my mother said. I'm setting a boundary, I said. Something I should have done years ago. Megan hurt me repeatedly. You defended her repeatedly. I don't owe either of you access to my happiness. I hung up. Megan called next. She was crying. How could you not invite me? I'm your sister. You cut up my prom dress, I said. That was so long ago. I was young and stupid. You're going to hold that against me forever? You never apologized, I said. You said oops. You destroyed something I'd saved for months to buy. Something important to me. And you treated it like a joke. I'm sorry, she said. Now. You're sorry now that there's a consequence. Where was sorry 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5? You had a decade and a half to apologize. You only care now because you're excluded from something you want to be part of. I want to be at my sister's wedding, she said. Why? I asked. Give me one reason. What have you ever done that makes you think you deserve to be there? She was quiet. We're family. That's not a reason. That's a relationship we didn't choose. I'm choosing who gets to be at my wedding. People who love me, who've supported me, who've shown up for me. You've never done any of that. I love you, she said. No, you don't, I said. You love the idea of being included, of being the sister at the wedding. But you don't love me. You never have. She hung up crying. The next 3 months were hell. My parents left daily voicemails, long ones, sometimes 10 minutes, about family and forgiveness, about how I was making a mistake I'd regret for the rest of my life, about how weddings are about bringing families together, not tearing them apart, about how Megan had grown up, had changed, deserved another chance. My mother sent emails with articles about sibling relationships, about grudges and how they poison you, about being the bigger person. My father sent texts with Bible verses about forgiveness. I didn't respond to any of it, just let it pile up. Megan posted on Facebook about being excluded from family events. Vague posts that got lots of sympathetic comments from people who didn't know the full story. Some people never forgive even the smallest mistakes. Family is supposed to be forever, but I guess not for everyone. Watching from the sidelines while life goes on without you. Her friends commented things like, I'm so sorry, and you deserve better, and their loss. Cousins and aunts started calling, asking what was going on. Why wasn't Megan invited? Was there a fight? Could they help mediate? I gave them the short version. She destroyed something precious to me 15 years ago and never apologized. Most understood. Said they didn't know about that. That made sense. Some took my parents' side. Said I was being petty. That it was 15 years ago. That she was young. That I should let it go. That family is more important than old grudges. I explained that it wasn't about the dress. It was about a pattern. About years of cruelty, about parents who always chose her. They said it sounded complicated and wished me well. I blocked the ones who got too pushy. The ones who kept calling trying to convince me to change my mind. By the time the wedding arrived, I'd blocked probably 15 family members. Cut them out rather than listen to more opinions about my choices. 2 weeks before the wedding, my mother called. "Your father and I have decided to come. We don't agree with excluding Megan. We think you're wrong. But we want to be there for you." "Thank you," I said. "But Megan still isn't invited." "We know," she said, her voice tight. "We'll be there without her." The wedding day arrived. June 15th. Perfect weather. The estate looked like something from a fairy tale. White flowers everywhere, string lights in the trees. The ceremony was at sunset in the garden. 150 people in attendance. I didn't look at my parents during the ceremony. Didn't want to see their judgment or disappointment. The reception was in the ballroom. Round tables with white linens and flowers. 4-course meal. Soup, salad, choice of filet or salmon, dessert trio. Wine at every table. Open bar. The band played jazz during dinner, then opened up to rock and current hits. Our first dance was to a song James picked. Beautiful and romantic. Made me cry. People danced. My friends, James's co-workers, our neighbors. Everyone laughed and celebrated. It was perfect. My parents sat at their table most of the night. Danced once, smiled politely, but looked uncomfortable. They left right after dinner, before cake, before the real party started. Said they were tired, hugged me stiffly, and left. I watched them drive away, felt nothing. James squeezed my hand. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I am." Because everyone else there chose to be there, celebrated us genuinely. The photos came back 2 weeks later. They were stunning. Every moment captured. James and me laughing, our friends dancing, the venue glowing in the evening light. I posted a few to social media. Tagged people who were there. Thanked everyone for coming. Megan commented on one. "Looked beautiful. Wish I could have been there." I deleted the comment. Then I blocked her. My mother called a month after the wedding. "Did you block Megan?" "Yes," I said. "Why would you do that?" "Because every time I see her name, I'm reminded that you chose her over me. Again. Even at my wedding. You came, but you left early. You couldn't even pretend to be happy for me because she wasn't there." "We were happy for you," my mother said. "We just wish the whole family could be together." "The whole family was together," I said. "Except the person who spent my entire life making me feel like I don't matter. She wasn't there, and it was better that way." "You can't cut your sister out of your life forever," she said. "Watch me," I said, and hung up. I haven't spoken to Megan in 2 years now. Haven't spoken to my parents much either. Holiday texts, brief calls, surface-level pleasantries. They bring up Megan occasionally. How she's doing, what she's up to. I say that's nice and change the subject. They've stopped pushing, realized I'm serious, that this isn't a phase or a grudge that'll fade. It's a boundary. Permanent and non-negotiable. James and I just bought a house. 4 bedrooms, big yard, good schools nearby. We're talking about kids. Building a family. His parents are involved, excited, supportive. Mine are distant. Polite when I call, but never warm. They chose Megan. I chose myself. We're all living with those choices. Do I regret not inviting her? No. Every time I look at my wedding photos, I'm grateful she's not in them, that her face isn't in the background of the happiest day of my life. That she didn't get to pretend to be a supportive sister for the camera while being the person who taught me I couldn't trust my own family. The prom dress is gone, thrown away 15 years ago, but I remember it clearly. The pale blue silk, the beading, the way it looked hanging in my closet before Megan destroyed it. I remember thinking it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever own. I was wrong. The most beautiful thing I own now is a life Megan isn't part of. A wedding she wasn't invited to. Photos she's not in. Memories she can't ruin. A boundary she can't cross. She taught me that some people will destroy your happiness and expect forgiveness. I learned. Just not the lesson she thought she was teaching. My wedding dress cost $8,000, 20 times what the prom dress cost. Custom designed, fitted perfectly, everything I wanted. I wore it once, for 10 hours, and it was worth every penny. Not because it was expensive, but because I wore it surrounded by people who wanted me to be happy. Not a single person there who'd ever cut up my clothes and said, oops. Not a single person there I had to protect myself from. Just people who loved me. Really loved me. Not the idea of family obligation love, real love, chosen love. If you've ever had a sibling destroy something precious to you and face no consequences, this is for you. If you've ever been told to forgive someone who never apologized, this is for you. If you've ever built something beautiful and kept out the people who taught you they don't deserve to share your joy, this is for you. You don't owe anyone a seat at your wedding. You don't owe anyone access to your happiness. You don't owe anyone forgiveness just because time passed. Some things can't be fixed with sorry. Some damage is permanent. Some people don't get to be part of your story anymore, and that's okay. That's healthy. That's you choosing yourself. Tell me in the comments, have you ever excluded a family member from a major event because of past hurt? Did they ever apologize or take responsibility? I read every story, and if you want more stories about people who chose happiness over family obligation, subscribe. Sometimes the most beautiful moment isn't when everyone's there. It's when the right people are there, and the wrong people aren't.